We're on, sports fans. We're on.
Czar,
Yes, ma'am.
I can't get my computer to give me my notes. So if you have the thing that I sent you,
I have it.
okay, if you want to just start reading some of it and we can comment on it because I have no notes.
Did you think I could? I can't read. Yeah, I'm
You
mildly
can't read?
retarded. Kidding, no.
No.
Kidding. Teasing.
Remember
So
Are we rolling?
we've been rolling, kids. Yeah, this is the embarrassing part. Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah, three old people on it. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I lost my teeth 1 minute. Let me put them in.
Oh my God.
Can you look good, Susan?
Thank you.
I'll stop doing Billy Crystal doing an old Jew in Miami. All right.
That was good.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so right now we've got a picture of Mr. Tim Armitage, owner of RCD Custom Homes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Susan, say hello to us so we can see your pretty face.
Hello to you. This is Susan Forster, owner of Pacific Premier Enterprises,
That's
coming in
right.
loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Now, Susan, you've got beautiful artwork behind you. I can't even hear anything you're going to say till you tell me what is the one behind you. The blue, the red, and the green are very pronounced.
Chagall.
Oh my God. Do you really have a Chagall on your wall?
I have about, let's see, looking around, a few.
Amazing. All right.
Love
Okay,
Chagall.
now I can't speak for Tim, but I'm very settled now. So
Good.
Susan, it's good to see you. And I'm glad you were able to be here because we were just going to do this, Tim and I. But, you know, the more we talk, it's like we've got to have everybody join the party. So can you explain about this new COVID killer? I named it COVID killer.
That's a good name because that's what it does. It annihilates it.
How does it do it? What's the deal with it?
UVC, I don't know if you know, but there's UVA and B. A is like the UV rays coming from the sun that gets through our atmosphere, makes us older. B is it'll burn your skin, and C is man-made. So with the C, we can actually put it in a room and it will zap, destroy, can't kill the virus, the coronavirus, because it isn't living. It destroys its DNA or RNA. So once it's destroyed, it can't spread, right? We have a little slogan Tim made up, when it's dead, it can't spread.
That's right.
Very catchy, Mr. Tim.
Thank you.
I like it. So what made you guys the idea to, what was happening? What time? So in California, I guess nationwide, we had the shutdown go into effect in March, if I remember correctly. How long after that did you guys get your idea?
I think it was right around March because I had a trip set to go to Europe, and when I discovered the whole world was shutting down, I was talking to Tim. We were doing a project. He's doing a commercial building that needs a total renovation, kind of thing that he does. And he said, you know, we can stop this. And I said, yeah, let's look into this UV light. You can actually install it in the ceiling, which zaps the virus, anything line of sight. So we also have a process where we spray underneath with an electrostatic sprayer. Is that right, Tim?
Correct. And what that does, just so for people that don't really understand that, is it just take like a leg from a table and it's 360 degrees. And when you zap that area, that electricity goes completely around that leg. So anything that is like three-dimensional or a flat surface would be our lights, but the electrostatic completely surrounds anything that we pointed at.
Wow, so that's amazing. So you're clarifying and cleansing all the surfaces as well as the air.
Correct. Absolutely.
And then the air, Tim, he installs in an HVAC system Or we have appliances we put on the wall that recirculate the air, and when it's getting recirculated, the UVC actually destroys the virus, all viruses, not to mention bacteria and mold as well. So you get a clean room. It's we recently did a project with a doctor where Tim installed some of this. How does that UVC and the HVAC work?
So the way that actually works is you've got your air conditioning unit, and every air conditioning unit has an air handler, is what they call it. And what we do is after we purify and sanitize and completely sterilize, as you know, when we enter the building, once all those three phases of the work has been completed, then we install the UVC lighting inside the air handler. And basically what that means is we go into the system, we put our pure air system, the UVC system, inside. The air comes in, goes through the system. It eliminates the, any bacteria or mold or viruses, anything that could actually circulate. It'll go through that. Then it goes through a double HEPA filter system, through the coils, and then back out again. And the great thing about that is people go, well, geez, how quick can you actually clean the air? Well, as you're saying, Susan, for the doctor, we were purifying that air, recirculating that air within 3 to 4 minutes, complete. That's a 1,500 square foot office building.
Yeah, and we did it in the middle of the night on the weekend at his convenience. Of course, we went in and cleaned first. It's really essential you have a clean space before you do the electrostatic cleaning. And with the lights, he's got a 3-prong system there that when he walks through that door and his staff, clients, patients, the public, they're experiencing this wonderful, fresh, clean air free from, the interesting thing is not just COVID viruses, all kinds. I mean, There are viruses out there that are coming back like measles and, HIV and hepatitis, and it goes on and on and on, not to mention bacteria. Recently on TV, there was Legionnaires where someone actually died. And this is another bacteria that the UVC process kills. So when you're thinking about working there, and he commented, wow, my air conditioner is working much better, right?
Yeah.
Remember that, Tim?
Right, exactly. Well, we cleaned the whole system and all the ductworks before we even started. Again, that was part of the process. As when we first go in and do our thorough cleaning, that means everything. So yeah, obviously it's a medical building and it was super clean already, but we exceeded that. And we spent a couple of days after work just completely going through all the system, the ducts, everything inside the office building. So yeah, he was extremely happy with the way that actually the whole process went, because we never inconvenienced him once. They would do their normal operations during 9 to 5. We came in after hours, and we were gone before they showed up the next day. And the whole thing took us 3 days, I believe, to do from start to finish.
Very efficient.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's kind of like a miracle, but this UVC has been around a long time. They're actually using it and have used it in surgical rooms because it kills, not just viruses, but deadly bacteria and molds. And Tim's worked a lot with molds. We can talk a little bit about that, but this is, it's not some new fandangled thing that hasn't been vetted. It actually cleans your water source too. They put this through in a water treatment plant. Not to mention food, any kind of bacteria on food. You wonder why you don't get sick, is they run this through a UVC process
produce.
as well.
Yeah, your produce. You're right.
So it's been around for decades. So it's well known, aerospace people use it, many scientists use it. It's just not been used to the public and businesses. And your home, actually you could have it in your home.
Oh, well, and I mean, obviously now with things getting as out of control as they are for the past almost 9-10 months, we've gotten to the point now where we're talking about using hospital grade, surgical grade, FDA approved, OSHA approved air purification systems with UVC light. And you guys make a good point. I've noticed that probably in the last, maybe the last 5 years, I've seen that, produce, they'll have a little sticker. It'll say your produce has been treated with UVC light. And
Yes.
also with, I don't know that I've seen it with the fish, but I've seen it in the meat section at the grocery store. So you're right. This isn't anything new. It's just, I'm curious, excuse me, what happened that made you think about this? Because I know it's not top of mind, and I know Tim deals with mold issues, because he's in the custom home building business, the renovation business. Is that where it came from, Tim?
When I say we, I sat down with Susan and had this conversation because, as she said, we do multiple projects, high-end projects, all along the coast from Del Mar, La Jolla. This is what Susan does, is sell high-end real estate. So knowing that we've worked together in the past and knowing that so many businesses, especially in La Jolla, it was like a ghost town. Nothing open, and that's unusual for La Jolla. I mean, La Jolla is usually it's seasonal effect. Yeah. And so we sat in the office and we were just talking. I said, there's got to be a way, Susan, to, instead of this temporary fix that everybody's trying to do, have a permanent fix. So we both started brainstorming. And we're like, we got to find a way that can kill this thing instead of just, instead of letting it just linger and go, okay, we cleaned the surface, because that's what you're going to hear from everybody. It's like, well, our area is clean for how long? You know what I mean? And so instead of us just, sitting there going, okay, well, let's use some antimicrobial cleaning. No, too many other people are doing that and trying to, do the best they can with it. We need more of a positive, we got to eliminate this thing, period. This is going to help, businesses get back to work. Cause that was my primary deal is seeing people, the loss of lives and how many people were out of work. Both are devastating.
They really are. It's critical that the country wakes up and understands processes they can actually do. Like the reason I knew about it was, my husband was a doctor and then a dentist. He went to UCLA, and we had a dental practice for years. So, and I knew of surgery and I knew of UVC and surgical rooms, but not to the depth that we dove in and researched, right? How do you get a science room clean? Science experiments, the whole thing. We're right here in the heart in San Diego of an awful lot of, research and development, tech, science-based stuff. Their labs have to be free and clear of any germ.
So you know what I'm hearing? It's interesting. You guys are being influenced by your environment, and you're being influenced by, the circumstances happening today. So this kind of was born out of a frustration of having the economy get shut down, having everyone go into fear mode, and then driving around the streets. I remember that. I'll never forget as long as I live. I'm in LA, you guys are in San Diego, but when you go out into Los Angeles and there's no traffic and it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
It's a ghost town. Yeah, it's really sad. And then, so again, Dart, to go back to kind of answer your question, Susan and I just really dipped into it hard on finding solutions that, instead of a temporary fix, we were looking for a permanent fix. And with all the research that we came up with, I mean, what was it, Susan? Hundreds of hours of research in this, and the science studies and everything else, and the people that we've talked to, UCLA, this is what it came down to. This is what it came down to, was this light, the lighting of this technique that we do was the golden key to eliminate this ugly, invisible monster once and for all. And it's pure, purely just a miracle that we stumbled across it, and that we're throwing it out there for everybody, because it's great. It's not a temporary fix. It's a permanent fix.
No, that's what I like about it the most, is that this, having an air purification system in place, it works all the time. So it eliminates almost 100% human error, because you can
Well,
go
think
around and
about it,
spray
Dar.
handles and wear your mask and all of that, but there's always
If you-
room for you to make it a mistake and forget,
Right.
right?
Yeah, so basically what it does, Dar, is it purifies the air 99.9%. Now you throw in the HEPA filters, which we include, gives you basically 100% of just nothing but pure air. No particles. There's nothing that's going to go through that.
That's great, man. You know,
It's
you really
amazing.
need it. It is amazing. And it seems, you know, some of the best ideas are so simple, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And people
What's
think, you think
amazing,
you're,
what's really amazing, and I apologize if I interrupted, the great thing about this is it's going to save lives and it's going to put people back to work. I mean, this is not, even though it's high-end medical grade, you know, and again, it's got earthquake straps on it, it's got sensors on it. It's an amazing product that we're sticking out there. But what's really amazing is we can fabricate any building for the use of this. So schools to get kids back to school, restaurants getting people back to work, anything. I mean, auditoriums, movie theaters, gyms, salons. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So
well, since we're on camera, I'm going to throw this out. The first thing that I thought about was if we put these on the sound stages, you know, on the studio lots and the network lots. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. And then,
Tremendous. Yeah.
you know, it would be amazing, you know, and even if you have to go on location and shoot, you know, there's a way that you could put that into the existing house or office building or wherever location you're shooting in so that everyone's safe.
you
We
can
have-
put it, Dar, literally anywhere on top of, if you are mobile, there's mobile units that we can bring out and do temporary setups for. It's incredible. And, you know, we can go into talking, Susan, about Robbie the robot.
I was just going to say, why don't Susan or Tim, why don't you guys talk about that mobile
Well, yeah,
unit?
we were
Yeah,
just gonna
because
talk about-
basically, and I'm going to let Susan go with this, but the products that we put out there, Dar, are not your takeoff. And no offense to China, but it's not your little takeoff cheap $39.99. You know, get it on QVC, and it's gonna save the world, and your house is gonna be completely, you know, pure from any COVID. That's not going to work. The little lights and the things that people get for that are great for maybe your desk, and that's about it.
There's no comparison between you see on a QVC or what is it called? I can't think of it, but these shopping networks, there's no comparison.
Right. And you see it all the time now, and those are just copycats, and they're cheap. So it's just like,
well, it's the
anything.
world we live in. It's the world we live in. People see something and they want to try to knock it off for less and tell you it's the same thing, but it's not.
Right. You want something that people are going to stand behind, that has been proven, tested 100%. It is amazing. And this is why it's high-end medical grade, and, you know, hospitals are using it, and you have to. It's got to be all approved, as you said, you know, and all of it has. And the bottom line is, you know, Susan and I wouldn't be on here today talking about it if we didn't feel strongly about it. So, you know, what we've done for people already is amazing. If you look at our commercial, because we did a commercial not too long ago for the dentist, Dr. Clark Henderson, absolutely amazed with this product. He's got another office that he's getting ready to do as well. And we just need to keep moving forward with it, because, as you said, studios, Dar, my goodness, even though you've got the high ceilings like that, you can fabricate this stuff, hang them on the walls. You can do a drop down ceiling. There's mobile units on the ground. There's so many different products that we could literally use to cover the square footage that you're working in.
Yeah,
so Susan, talk about Robbie the robot. Tell us about that mobile unit.
Tell us about Robbie.
You may have seen something like Robbie the robot on Grey's Anatomy, on the latest thing, where one of the interns is lonely and she runs into the standing workroom where Robbie is before he goes beeping around into the room, and she starts telling him her problems. So robots everybody's seen the Boston, you know, robots that were dancing. That's
Right.
spread around. So they become more and more part of our life. We have Robbie on the high end, and you're talking about quite a bit of money because hospitals are using this in their surgical rooms. But we have also carts that you can pull around that are 360, not to mention a medical box, basically, that has a glass shelf and like a tanning bed, 360 lights, 360 degrees lights. So anything you put on that glass shelf, whether it's medical equipment or a mask, think about the masks people are throwing away at the end of the day. You can't clean them. You can't, put alcohol on them. It destroys the N95 substance. So if you're a company and you're buying hundreds of these at $5 each, right? And those are the ones that really work. Other masks we use, maybe 20% effective. I have somebody
So-
knocking on my door here.
Oh, do you need to get it?
No, he's actually knocking on my wall. It's my neighbor.
Yeah, we can hear it.
We can hear you, pal. Mission accomplished.
Knock,
Yeah.
knock,
So-
who's there?
He's
When-
putting a UVC unit on his wall right now.
Amazing. So when you talk about the portable unit, not the Robbie, I know Robbie the robot. I've seen. I
Right.
didn't know what I was looking at, but in the early days, like back early days, it was like March or April or May. They were showing these portable units, the robot units that purified the air in the hallways.
Right.
So you're not talking about that. I'm sure that's got a pretty hefty price tag to it. But you're talking about something else. What is that unit like? How big is it? How big an area does it cover?
It covers quite a bit of square footage. It's more of a warehouse treatment. It has wheels. You can set it up. It has a 50-foot cord. It has UVC lights that are 360. So let's say you're on a movie studio, and let's say you want to clean the studio before you bring in some of your sets. So you would put that on there for probably, an hour and a half, and everything around there now is clean. You put your sets on there, and anything that is a surface, it's going to treat immediately.
So
And then
clean doesn't
above-
sound like the proper word. It's literally sanitized, medically, surgically prepared. Even though we're not going to perform surgery, that's the level of sanitization that's occurring.
It destroys viruses, bacteria, mold, and mold spores. And, all of that comes into play. Tim's doing a big office building for me right now. And just the lady, the amount of money she's going to get once this building is fixed is, it's night and day. It's actually a business.
In terms of the value of the building going to go up.
Correct.
Having the system in it. I see.
Correct.
Imagine all the commercial buildings that are sitting still right now in office space. COVID has sent a lot of people home. So a lot of people are losing square footage, for their offices.
Right.
And if we go in and retrofit these older buildings, well, like the one on the news, Legionnaire's disease, these are old systems. And Tim can tell you they're heating systems. Nobody addresses this. Clean the ducts, clean the building, and then install something like this. It would be better than new buildings, literally. I mean, you can retrofit the whole building.
Wow.
He's also doing in that same project. Guess what? They ran into mold. So here we go, and that's the 4-letter word nobody likes to hear when they own property. So there's so many treatments that goes on, but it's so valuable. These industrial type carts are probably about 8 feet tall and 3 feet square.
Okay.
So it's easy to pull around on big wheels. And they have an inline timer. The medical grade equipment, we get this from many manufacturers. You've probably, what is it? Damon Chrysler actually has one that goes down like a bar cart in an airplane. It has a little arm on both sides. And that's UVC. That's how they're cleaning airplanes. So the little arms are going by the seats and all the plastic above. I know I flew for TWA for 5 years, and just like a bar cart that has been reconfigured. So, it's being used everywhere. It's just an amazing treatment. Yeah, and it'll kill, zap, destroy. We don't say kill because a virus isn't alive. It's a microorganism, but it needs a host. It needs you and me to survive. And it's getting,
Correct.
that's why it's mutating. It's getting really clever, getting in faster. I know the most recent strain, scary one in South Africa, Japan, they're popping up because it's mutating. And each one is different. So how do we keep track of that? Well, medicine is telling us right now. I listen to Dr. Scott Gottlieb every morning on the stock market, and he's was Pfizer's board, on the Pfizer board.
Okay.
And he's telling us these strains are going to happen. It's finding a way to stay with us. You know,
Well, this is the problem. This is the problem that you're addressing. And this is one of the reasons, aside from this being a great idea, but you know, this thing has been left unchecked, unfortunately, because of the current administration in the White House. And 10-month head start has created strains and mutations, and we still don't even know the long-term effects of it. So that's the grim part of it. But you've got to know what you're dealing with. The good part of it, the positive part of it, is there is a solution. It's not necessarily a cheap solution, but then again, nothing worthwhile is inexpensive. And so, you know, the sooner that we can start to purify the air in buildings, on sets, in restaurants, hospitals, schools, auditoriums, you know, just the basic maintenance of society, the better off we're going to be. And then have people start wearing masks. And, you know, we can get a toehold in there on this thing and effectively, you know, kill this and stop it maybe in as soon as a year. With the vaccine, purified air, masks, you know, there's hope for it. But this is the kind of stuff that needs to be done. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. You know, the producer, the showman in me wants to go, and that's why you're watching this show. But it is why you're listening to this. And, you know, this is going to be around forever. Long after all three of us are gone, this information is going to be there. And I hope that the message gets out far and wide faster and sooner than later.
Yeah, I think it's a way of life, like you're saying. I think, you know, come influenza time, here we go again.
Right.
UVC kills the virus for influenza, and so many people die of that. I mean, this is just piling on. It's going to be new every year. We don't have it tackled. We can't tackle the common cold. You know, it's around. Some viruses mutate, some go away, like Middle Eastern syndrome, MERS. That finally dwindled. But this one isn't. This is a hardy stock. This causes a pandemic. And I think we're naive to think it isn't going to be in our future again and again. And a lot of this is because it's jumping from animals to humans.
Correct. Yeah, that's a problem.
It is. There are many good books on it. As the planet invades, basically, or we invade these animals and deforestation and all these climate changes, we're getting closer and closer. And there you've got the bats and the pigs and the camels in Middle Eastern. That's where it comes from. So the more knowledge we have about it and the more technology to kill it or destroy it when we have it, we're all going to be better off. I really think you're going to see in the future buildings, you know, cleaning their airspace and being cognizant of all the things this can do.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It sounds like this is something that can get into the conventional wisdom, into the national conversation and the national psyche, because, you know, people talk about, oh, let's get back to normal. Brother, this is the new normal. This is it. This is normal from here on out. We're always going to have had this, and it's always going to be there. And so we should start taking care of it. So let me ask you this. What stage are you guys at now? I know you just did the dentist's office in La Jolla. Have you been contacted by other people yet? Has that been a news story anywhere other than San Diego?
Yeah, we have, and we're looking to the areas of LA all over the place, and it's ramping up. We're a new business, so we're getting all of our equipment lines together, all of our manufacturers. You know, I think it's a learning process because people said, wow, we're going to get the vaccination. That's going to solve it, right? Well, we can't even get the vaccination out to people. And again, they're not aware of only 20% of the people are going to take a vaccination. And some of the workers in hospitals are afraid of it, right? So, you know, they think it's, you know, there's all kinds of opinion out there, and these are hard times with what's going on politically, you know, and we've got the COVID and people have been, you know, in their houses pent up. Some are desperate, some are crazy, you know, so what are we going to do?
Well,
We have
you know,
our
that's a great point you make. You know,
Yeah.
we can clean the air and kill the virus and cease it from spreading with your product. The only way we're going to cease the virus of the ignorance and stupidity that's been going around rampantly on the internet in this country, especially, is through education. And so this is a minor step, you know, in that direction. You guys have the white papers and the research on this if people want to follow up on it on their own time.
Sure. And they can go online and get it as well. It's, I mean, the research, like I say, is not new. Water treatment, look up at food irradiation, look at all of those sources. But yeah,
it's been around forever. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Our equipment is medical grade, so we get it from different manufacturers. Some are robotic and some are not. So it's interesting, but a lot of these businesses that we're going to call on are closed right now. You can't get through to them. So as they start to open, we start to get the vaccination. It's a slow process of education, like you said. It's all about the education.
It is all about the education. We talked about that, all three of us, before. And, you know, I asked you that question as a kind of a lead-in, Susan. Tim's not saying anything because he's letting us talk right now. But we're going to be sending out, you know, press releases, and we're going to get some coverage on this. And everyone that we've tested the waters with, everyone I've tested the waters with, loves it because it's a feel-good story. It's like, how can you not get on board with this? You know,
it's very proactive. Yeah,
it's extremely proactive. Instead of sitting and living in fear and having the news cycle repeat the new cases and the new deaths, which are a whole other conversation. I think it's more important to talk about the solutions that are out there that are actionable. We can take it now. So let me ask Tim a question. What is the website address that people can find out more about this COVID killer and see all of the research and everything else that you've been doing, Tim?
If you go to pureairdesign.com, you will get all the information you need there. You'll see with our commercial that we just did recently with Dr. Clark Henderson. It kind of shows a little of the practice of what we did there. You know, a breakdown of kind of the procedure, what we went through. And,
so let me interrupt you real quick. He was hurting. He was losing business, and he'd been in business for like 30 years, right?
He actually, yes, even longer than that. His father had the practice before he did. And
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he ended up going in after his father and actually opening up 2 offices down here in San Diego. And yeah, his business, like everybody's, dropped off just tremendous. I mean, and ever since that we went in there, it's amazing. He quadrupled, you know, his revenue with people coming in now because they feel safe. You know, they feel safe.
He increased his revenue 4 times. Really?
He went in at least 3 to 4 times. That's how busy he is now. He is like so booked up and so grateful for that. So it's really, really helped him out a lot.
Holy shit. Okay. Oops, I said a bad word. Wow, he tripled or quadrupled his business.
Well, he opened back up.
Think about it, Art. I mean, think about it. People that want to get their hair done, they can't get it done, so they're having their wife or their husband do it. Or
hello,
you know, if you could go in, there you go. If you could go into it, you know, I'm lucky enough because I have my wife do mine. You know, there's not much to it. But if you can go into an establishment and know that you feel safe in there, you know what I mean? And it's open because of what we've done. Well, if you own a business, why wouldn't everybody be doing that? You know what I mean? If it's going to open your doors again and start bringing people in and they feel safe, you know, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but you walk into his office now, and none of his staff members, nobody's got a mask on because they don't feel the need to. There's no reason to. You know, anybody that comes in new, they sit there and do the temperature check. And I wanted, you know, Susan didn't get a chance to talk about this, but you know, another part of some of the stuff that we sell and install are not just a little cheesy, you know, take the temperature on the forehead. We've got some stuff that is really, really cool that you put at the doorway. It's got infrared that comes in, takes your temperature, feeds that data back to the receptionist. She never even has to get out of her room. It comes up on her screen, and they can detect right then and there if you're good to come in or not. But
what you're talking about, I saw that.
You'll see it in the airports.
I didn't see it in the airport. Actually, I saw it on HBO's show about the NFL called Hard Knocks. They do it at the beginning of the season. And
Right.
this year they did it with the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers. And they had the guys come up to, it just looked like a little, I can't call it a booth, but it's a screen, and it takes their temperature right away and takes all their vitals right away and reports it, and they're okay to go in the facility or they're not okay to go in. So that's what you're talking about.
And you know,
well, and also, I'm sorry, also it's a computer, so it logs in how many people have gone through. It's in the lobby of, for instance, Kaiser Hospital. There are cameras, you know, that instantly shoot from several feet away, so people can stream like in the airport, and you don't interrupt your business. I mean, Amazon needed it in the beginning. They weren't doing anything, right? So you can walk right by. It can tell you at the end of the day how many people entered. You know, you can catch them going to work. Everybody feels a little safer there. It's a great product.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys just go ahead, Tim. So sorry.
I was going to say, I wanted also to kind of reiterate on these boxes that we put in cabinets, give them a nice custom finish. Susan started to talk about it, but these are ideal for, because you hear so many people going, well, you know, this COVID sits on things, and you can basically transport it around and whatnot. Prime example, another office that we did, they put these boxes in right at the doorway. So when UPS, FedEx bring packages, and you know it's just an envelope or whatever it is, they stick it right into this beautiful box that we've got. And again, within 10 minutes of it being inside the box, perfect. Anybody can come over, take it out, and you don't have to worry about it, because you know how infectious that has been to everybody, worried about when you go shopping, they're like, make sure you clean your bag.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to do any of that anymore. So it's such a time saver on top of that, because if you go anywhere, Dar, you know as well as I do, the girl's got to come from, you know, wherever she's at to check your temperature, constantly cleaning with the antimicrobial cleaning that they do on the chairs and handrails. There's so much time wasted doing that. And a lot of it, to be honest with you, is maybe at 50% that, you know, is even doing any good.
Right. So, and you know, if you can just have it automated with the air purification system,
well, you don't have to
recirculating, you can relax. Like it reduces stress, and it reduces the chance for anybody.
And who's not going to want to have purified air every 3 to 4 minutes throughout your whole facility?
Well, I think that's why people hearing this are going to be like making phone calls and going to the website to get a hold of you.
It's amazing. I mean, and again, you know, Susan will tell you the same thing. We've been focusing more on the commercial side of it, but this can go anywhere. You can put it in your home if you want, you know, but it is.
I was just going to say that, you know, Donsley sits on the board of a school, and that may be something that could be introduced, and, you know, they could put it in the school system. Of course, you know, that's super bureaucracy, but with this COVID being as bad a problem as it is, and especially here in California, I mean, we're unfortunately ground zero right now. Ground zero is not the worst, but we are the hot spot in the entire nation. Yeah. And by default, you know, the entire country, you know, the entire world. So, but we've got a friend of ours sits on the board at Tyson, and you know, that's the food supply to this country, and it has been, you know, unchecked there, and there's been a lot of deaths and incredible amount of cases, and, you know, people have got to eat. So I don't know. I hope he gets a chance to hear this. He's a busy man. I'll reach out to him and let him know about this. But it'd be great to be able to put that into their facilities all over the country, so that the workers can be, they're working hard. I mean, slaughterhouses are brutal business. That's a whole other conversation. But
Right.
schools, hospitals, churches, restaurants gives people a chance to be social and safe, and keep the economy lubricated. I know everyone likes to scream about the economy, and my response to that is, hey, listen, if we're dead, there is no economy. If everyone's
Yeah.
sick and infected and doesn't even know it, forget about the economy. There won't be any people
Right.
left. You have to start from
Yeah,
ground
but you
zero.
really need, instead of a temporary fix, Dar, it's got to be a permanent fix. And this is one way to permanently kill this thing, because just cleaning it is not going to do it.
No, I agree. You've got to really get it at its root. And you're talking, like Susan said, gets at the RNA and the DNA of the virus, and it can't go. And your catchphrase is perfect. Can't spread if it's dead. So
absolutely,
there you go. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's like this is a godsend to hear this, and I can't wait. I couldn't wait to get all of us on to talk about it, because I want people to hear about it in Hollywood, selfishly. But entertainment during dark times, man, they say there's businesses that don't go out of, no matter recession or depression, businesses won't go bad. The porn business, unfortunately, the alcohol business, and the entertainment business, they're not going anywhere. And the internet's not going to go anywhere either. So the sooner we can have Hollywood up and running, the sooner we can have education back up and running. Even if the virus is still out there, if mom and dad know that the kid's going to school and the air is purified and they're clean, and their only worry is between the car and the school building, back and forth. I mean,
that's exactly right. So again,
to your point, Dar. Yeah, to your point, Dar, children in school, children are now getting this, and the repercussions, they do recover, but now they're having brain swells, and we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And there's a lot.
Exactly, Susan, you're right.
So the safety of the children who's kind of
the safety of everyone, you just, sorry, I can't keep my mouth shut. So sorry, but it's true. Human beings, we have a tendency, especially when we're afraid or we're trying to put out a fire or a threat, is to look and think short term. But you got to be smart about this. We have to be smart about this and think long term. And if you're listening to the professionals, not some whack job YouTube video conspiracy theory, I'm talking about the epidemiologists, the specialists in infectious disease, the MDs who study this, the scientists. The long-term effects of COVID are going to be very taxing, because you're right. It affects the brain, memory, it affects the lungs, it affects the kidneys, the liver. All internal organs are affected, and the long-term effect on our healthcare system, I don't know.
That's another, Susan and I are praying that we can get our government involved and start issuing some grants for this, because that would really be very helpful for a lot of people. And why wouldn't you? My goodness. I mean, again, it's just, without us moving forward and doing this is going to be a long haul.
We need help here, folks. Anyone who knows how to write grants, which grants to approve for this, please reach out to Tim and Susan at, it's Pure Air Systems, you said, Tim?
pureairdesign.com.
Pureairdesign.com.
There's all kinds of info on there, and hopefully, Dar, you'll have us back and we can discuss more about it. And as time goes on, we can kind of brief people on where things are standing and what's new, because we have all kinds of new stuff that's coming online, which is fantastic.
I love it. You'd mentioned that you've got the portable unit. Of course, you've got, you can scale and structure, custom fit the air purification system, the HVAC system for whatever space. Have you guys got anything that can be put in cars?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Yeah, there's just as there is for airplanes and yachts and boats and trailers, etc. There are products for cars. Car dealers would be really, advised to do this, because how do you do a test run? Who taught, we wipe down the car tests it, but we can do that, and we can do that on the spot.
So here's we're going to talk about this out loud. But what we want to do, Hollywood, as you're listening, is we're going to be reaching out, all three of us. I don't know who, but the three of us are going to be reaching out at various times. And a friend of mine is a public relations expert, had his own business for many, many years, Harlan Bowl. Harlan, thank you. We love you. And he's put us in touch with the various television programs like Extra, Entertainment Tonight, The Chew, any of these places. And anyone else who sees this, we'd like to come in and install the system in the studio. You know, it's up to you how much of the studio you want to cover. If you just want it to be
you got like a green room or something, Dar?
Well, green rooms are great, and that's a great place for it to be. But you also need it out on the studio so the cameraman can feel safe. You know,
right.
The talent can feel safe. The guests can come in and feel safe. And you know, that's their biggest problem right now is everyone's doing what we're doing instead of us being in the same location, laughing and having drinks and talking to each other as we record this. You guys are in San Diego. I'm in LA. And the same thing's happening on these other shows. So, and it would be a great place to showcase it. And you guys can talk about it on your shows, Entertainment Tonight, Extra.
There you go.
Big smile.
Well, we have
The View, The Chew, all of it.
All of it, yeah. And that's we have portable equipment. We can bring it in, hook it up, and take it away, or we can install. So we're very versatile. Whatever.
So what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is of the television, newscasting, entertainment world, is that you can try out the system. It's not going to be for free, darlings. You can try out the system and see what works best for you, what kind of a response you get, or you can screw all that and go straight to the meat and potatoes and outfit the entire building where your production's taking place, where your schooling is taking place, where your place of worship is, where your offices are located, where your restaurants are, whatever it may be. And the sooner we do this,
you feel safe and you never have to worry about it again.
That's it. And like Tim just said, you know, what the doctor's name is, last name is what?
Clark Henderson.
So Dr. Henderson out of La Jolla, I think that's where his offices are, his practices.
He's got two. One is in Claremont Mesa. The other one is in Rancho Bernardo.
Okay. His business has tripled, possibly quadrupled since installing the system. And it's only been about 2.5, 3 months ago. Am I right?
Yeah, it's been, I think, approximately 3 months.
Okay, so there you go. You can feel free to reach out to him and watch the commercial that Tim and Susan put together on the website, pureairdesign.com. And don't believe us, check it out.
Check it out. You'll love it.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Susan, do we have anything else to add to this?
Future viruses. You have to think in the future. You know, this installation is to keep your air that you breathe safe. How many people have mold in their house? How many people buy an expensive air filter, which is just a HEPA filter? And Tim will tell you, yeah, it's going to get some particles, but it doesn't get a virus. A virus is 10,000 times smaller than a grain of salt. Good luck.
Let me add to what you just said. Good luck. You're right. 100%. You know, you're right, Susan. Some people, that's an objection people will have. Well, it's just, this isn't going to be here forever. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not only here, it's coming in now in animal or in insect form. They're mosquitoes, arachnids, those friendly little spiders that are now carrying it on the website.
Susan, I hate to interrupt, but we lost your audio a little bit.
Oh, you did?
There you go.
There you are.
Perfect.
You're back. Perfect.
Okay.
It's that
but you know, you're right about that. We need to keep this.
Sure, we're maybe on the brink of a new pandemic carried by, you know, we've caught some of these things, but it's coming fast. If you're asking entomologists and people that know, we all know that one, you know, cholera.
Well, they've been banging the drum for years. They've been banging the drum for years saying that, you know, it's not going to be an epidemic, it's going to be a pandemic, and it can be devastating. So this isn't just a one-off for COVID. This is going to help with flus from here on out. This is going to help with a common cold here on out. And anyone who's ever had to deal with mold infection getting into their lungs. I mean, I don't wish that on anyone. It's not
That
a
was
place to
one
be.
of the reasons, Dar, not to interrupt, but that was mold has always been a major concern of mine.
Major concern.
For, strictly because, for one, my wife has lupus and she has a real problem with that. And so, again, to keep my family, my animals, everybody safe, I really thought, it's my responsibility to figure something out to help with that, because what she has, it's unfortunate. I don't know a lot of people if they understand what lupus is, but it's the white blood cells that attack the red blood cells, and any kind of any mold or viruses or anything like that are extremely problematic for her. So
it weakens the autoimmune system.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
It's not good.
So that was when you asked me, earlier, what gave you this idea, or how what made you want to get started in all this? That's always been a concern of mine, trying to figure out a way to keep her safe, number one, because again, I feel that responsibility for that. I mean, she's a sweetheart. She's the love of my life. And, and everybody that knows me about my dogs, the same thing. I'm a humongous animal lover, and and that's what we do. And as men, Dar, you want to do everything you can to keep your family safe. So when I was so fortunate to get with Susan and we both brainstormed this, it was just God sent. It was amazing.
And
I want to say, go ahead,
I'm
Susan. Sorry.
I would say that's my experience of Tim. I've always called on him to help remediate. He's been doing this for over 25 years. People say, oh, can he do this? Oh yeah, he can do it. He does the negative air, and he's done many mold major projects for us, and just people didn't even know they had it in their house until they got sick. And
it's always how it is. That's always how it is.
It's always how it is. And
so I want to say one thing that I think is really important before I forget.
Right.
And this comes from the knockoffs, and it's not necessarily knockoff, but I've got a friend who lives out in New Jersey, and he had his HVAC guy come by this summer, and he had to upgrade or repair his air conditioning. But the guy said, hey, look, I can install this a light system, and it'll kill everything. It's only $750. Talk about that, either Susan or Tim, and explain the difference between what that gentleman's talking about versus what your system does.
That, Dar, and Susan will reiterate as well. The thing you want to look at is the nanometers. And I know this starts getting technical when we start talking like this, but this is the intensity of the light. The cheaper, the less, it's going to be the cheaper the product's going to be cheaper for buying the product. When you go, our Susan is what, 850 nanometers?
Yeah, well, you've got to have 220 for the FAR and 285 for the ones that we installed in Dr. Clark's to kill everything in 30 minutes. I mean, and we can go into this, but FAR, F-A-R UVC, you will see eventually in malls, and humans can walk around and it's safe. At night, the more stringent ones and the ones in science and hospitals, a person is not in the room when it's on. And this can do its duty at 285 nanometers in 30 minutes. I mean, they put them in a hospital room, and then they seal it like a hotel and say, oh, it's good to go. Then they'll put it in the next one and the next one and the next one.
So the higher you go, the more extreme it is.
Right.
And what I was trying to tell Dar on that, Susan, is the one that his friend put in for $700.
He didn't put it in. He didn't put it in.
Yeah, that's probably going to be another knockoff one that you see, like I said, at 3 o'clock in the morning on QVC. Somebody brainstormed it and go, hey, I've kind of heard about this too. I'm going to throw something together, and boom, there's a fluorescent light that I can say is UVC, and it's going to kill COVID and everything else. Doesn't work like.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he told me go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It has to be medical grade. And many of these devices, appliances that we have, for instance, the one in the HVAC has a separate brain that regulates it. and it has to hook up to, it requires an electrician, I mean, a specialist. And that's what Tim brings to the field. He brings all of these levels of inspections and electricians and the building, how much juice is
The
coming into the
HVAC.
building, the
Yeah,
HVAC.
you gotta combine it all together. But once the system is fabricated, custom fit, it's absolutely amazing. And again, to have Dr. Clark Henderson even make a comment, I think you even heard him, Susan, when he was like, "It's amazing. We walk into this office and you can smell and just feel and the difference." And I never thought that before, but to have him and his staff say that, I thought that's amazing. That's great. It's doing its job.
There you go.
You can go into a lot of buildings, which you have. You've probably sat there in a waiting room or an office building, looked up
Stagnant air,
and see the dirt around the air return.
Oh God.
We've all done it, going, oh, do I really want to eat here? And you go into the bathroom and go, oh, do I really want to eat here? And God forbid you go into the kitchen and you run out, right? It's like, it's all about
had a lettuce in the window.
My grandmother was raised on a farm, said, cleanliness is next to godliness. And it's so true. You've got to have these systems in place. You have to be proactive. You sincerely do.
I agree. Guys, I think we've said a mouthful. I love this. This is going to go far and wide for sure. And people are going to be hearing about this slowly, and then it's going to roll out. I have a feeling this is going to catch fire, as they say.
Go to the website, puredesign.com, start researching it, take a look at it, look at the video. You'll see testimonials from Clark. I mean, again, it's amazing. And he's going to be coming back more because we're going to be doing his second office. And we're actually going to be going live on, what is that, Susan? Is it KUSI?
Yeah,
Susan?
TV show. Yes, TV shows. We're trying to address their green rooms right now. They haven't been able to produce or come out or have us come in and show our equipment because they aren't allowed. We're just waiting and waiting. And that's what's been hard on this, is we're ready to go. But the businesses aren't open, the offices aren't open. So it's been a hard road. You're catching us early, but I'll tell you, when it catches on, it's the common sense solution for everybody to get back to work. Let's just save the economy and save the public. My gosh.
Right. That's the goal.
I think we're good, guys.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Thank you both for your time. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.